on is ways to increase your value and how to create irresistible packages that you can then go ahead and enroll your clients into and shift away from the billable hour in the traditional model of using accounting services. So what we are going to do is, I just need to advance to the next slide. There we are. Okay. Okay. What I know about accounting professionals and the ones that I really work closely with, the ones that I talk to on a regular basis, is that you absolutely do meaningful work. You're making a difference for the people that you are helping with their personal taxes to be able to possibly save on their tax bill, be able to know ways to manage the money better. And then you're also, when you're working with businesses, helping them to grow their business, to be able to forecast, to know what their cash flow is like, and really be able to do that day-to-day bookkeeping service so that they can free up their time and do more of the work that they've been trained to do so that they can help their clients. So your work is absolutely meaningful, but a lot of times you tend to undervalue what you have to offer, which is your knowledge, your expertise, some of the things that you know that might be shortcuts that might be highly beneficial or suggestions, and that gets overlooked, or it maybe gets tucked away in a corner and they don't fully realize the value that you have to offer. If you are an accounting professional and you are, if you're an accounting professional and you are looking to really grow your business more, but you're working really, really long hours, you don't feel like you have the capacity for any more business because you just don't have any more clients to give, then you're absolutely in the right place. If you've been really watching value-based pricing and the conversations that are going on in the different groups or on different forums and articles you've been reading, but don't know how to maybe bring that into your business and how to do that, then this is absolutely something that's going to help you get started. You are totally in the right place today. What I would like to do is just share a little bit about me and how I came to be doing this. I am a sports psychologist turned business coach. What I realized was that my education has really given me everything that I need to be great at that thing that I do, which is helping my clients achieve their full potential without burning out, without being overwhelmed. Or look at when they might have two conflicting values and they know where they want to go, but another part of them is being held back, or you might have stuff around charging what you're really worth. I'm absolutely excellent at doing that. I do that with my clients all day. Every single one of them, I have some talk about pricing. But what I see that happened with my education and so many other professionals' education is that we were all trained to work for somebody else. We were trained to be employees as opposed to entrepreneurs. And therefore, we might not have the sales skills. You might not know how to price your services. You might not know how to really message and attract your ideal clients to you. So you don't know those business development skills that would really make a difference. You're just really great at that thing that you do, which is doing the bookkeeping and the accounting work for your clients. And that's what I really have been able to take a deep dive into. I've been able to solve for myself. I do that for my clients, and I want to give you a piece of that today as well. These are some of the places where I've either partnered or spoken, and I've really been very, very privileged to jump fully into the world of accounting professionals and sharing how the pricing model works. What we're going to cover today is transition your pricing, develop your packages, and the extra touches. I will give you absolutely as much as I possibly can in the time we have available. If you're interested at the end of having a further conversation with me and what it would be like to do more, I will show you how to do that as well. And let's just go ahead, jump in, and get started with transition your pricing. What I have learned from continuing to work with a business coach as well, because there's things that I come up against periodically also, and having someone else that knows the solution to my problem has been so valuable. So from working with a business coach myself in an ongoing fashion since 2009, from continuing to work with my clients, also, I am an avid researcher. I'm always in learning mode, how to be able to improve what it is that I have to offer. From all of that, I've come up with the ultimate pricing blueprint. And the 5 steps is starting off with knowing who your ideal client is. Who is it that you work best with? Is it a particular type of industry and business, or is it maybe a certain type of personality, or they have a specific problem? But figuring out exactly who your ideal client is the very first step to start moving in the direction of value pricing. The second thing you want to look at is framework. And framework is systems. What is it that you do with your clients that take them from where they are now to where they want to be, to having solved that problem? And what are the steps that you go through with them to be able to help them solve that problem? Now, whether you know it in a very mindful way where it's already laid out, or you just kind of do it and it works, you somehow have a system of being able to solve a problem. And what I love to do with my clients is we are able to define that system. I just did it yesterday with someone who didn't think that she had a system. And we spent a session. I went through asking her questions. She told me what she does at this step and what happens with this step and then what they need to know next. And by the end of the session, she had a clearly defined system. And now that she has it, she can use it in her copy on her website. She can use it when she goes to networking events and she's sharing about what she does. She can use it in her marketing material. It lays the foundation for everything. And if you look at the experts that you follow and you admire, they all have some type of system. So it's knowing your system, being able to articulate it, that gives you expert positioning. The next step is really packages. How do you create your packages? And basically, packages is looking at all the various services that you offer, knowing what you solve, and being able to bundle certain services together that help you solve a specific problem. And that is exactly what we're deep diving in today. But the 4th step is then pricing, how you shift away from the billable hour over to value-based pricing and be able to price your packages according to value as opposed to according to time. And when you do that, what happens is that you might find that you are working, but you could be making double or even triple the rates for the same amount of work, because now you're positioning it based upon advisory services and value as opposed to selling dollars for hours. And then the 5th step of the system is really looking at how do you position yourself in the market, whether it's with referral partnerships and other professionals or with ideal clients finding you. And what is the strategy to be able to market, position yourself as an expert, and be seen as that go-to person when your ideal client has a problem? They absolutely know that you're the one that can solve it for them. So that is the 5 steps in the ultimate pricing blueprint. And what I see is that when we talk about value, value is subjective. But the mistake that most entrepreneurs make is that when they think about the value question, they are looking at your value as a business owner and what you value and what you bring to the table. But when you're really looking at building your business and attracting ideal clients and pricing on value, it's not as much about your value as opposed to what your clients value. And if you can help to have them see the value that they offer and how it's going to help them solve a problem so they can then advance forward, that raises your value and it starts to separate you from other professionals. It puts you in the advisory category. So once again, value is subjective, but it's not as much about your value. It is about how much someone else values it. Now, the little caveat here is that you have to value your services first and what you're worth before you can expect someone else to value what you're bringing to the table and being able to pay your rates according to value as opposed to according to time. The next thing is taking that is looking at what is your highest value. A lot of times as entrepreneurs and accounting professionals, you're leading with what you do. It's the compliance work. It's maybe that you use receipt banks, or that you use Practice Ignition, or that you're using QuickBooks versus Xero, or all these other things that you bring into your business that allows you to do the work. And the truth is that your clients highly value what you know, your expertise, your ability to solve their problems quickly and effectively and save them money. They so much value what you know more than what you do. What you do is more important to you. What you know is why they are willing to invest in you at a higher level. And what I would love to know, there's a chat available. And if you wanted to go into the chat, I would love to hear what is it that you think your clients highly value about you, and would really be interested in hearing what that is. Now, the next thing to look at is what's called the comparison effect. And with the comparison effect, what this is that people naturally compare. They compare and they judge all the time. So often as service providers, we're concerned about being judged negatively. And I totally get that. But what I want to have you think about here is we want to shift the comparison that they're making when they're looking at hiring you for your services. So often, when the people are talking about hiring you because they want an accounting professional, what they're looking at is they're comparing you to other accounting professionals that they might be meeting with. So that is an external judgment that they're having. They're comparing you to somebody else. We want to do a slight shift, and packages solve that, and it makes such a big difference. What happens when you offer packages, instead of them now comparing you to someone else, they're just looking at your different packages, and the question changes from, will I work with you or someone else, to how will I work with you? Which one of your packages is the best fit for me? And so it shifts it from external, you to somebody else, to internal, to which is the best way that they can work with you based upon the packages that you're offering. And after that, what you really want to do is look at the fact that when you're offering packages, you want to shift your focus from when you were doing a billable hour, where you could just do the services sequentially. You didn't need to really tell your clients what you were doing so much as far as the details, and then you got paid at the end. With the packages, you want to recognize that there's 3 different ways that you want to set up your packages, or 3 different levels. And basically, think about when you're looking at a car. All different types of makes and models can do the basis of taking you from one place to another. They can do the transportation part, but it depends on what you want that look and feel and to feel like, the experience to be. So let's look at different types of car models. There's Hyundais, there's Volvos, and then there's Teslas. They all will get you from where you are to where you want to go. Now with a Hyundai, that's typically for someone that is more economically minded, and they need the transportation, but they don't want all the frills and features. With the Volvo, their branding is about the fact that it's for families that value safety and want to know that things happen that are outside of your control, but we're going to keep you as safe as we possibly can. And then the Tesla is for people who are environmentally conscious, but they want to be able to be environmentally conscious and good for the environment and luxury. They want to have those luxury features in something that's going to be very environmentally conscious. So think about that with your packages, that there's different types of people and different types of clients are going to gravitate to your different types of packages that you offer. And along with that is recognizing that with packages, instead of it being where they get a bill at the end of the month, and the bill can be different rates depending on, it can vary from month to month depending on what you're doing for them, package is more of a fixed price. And what you're looking at here with the fixed price is that they know how much they're going to be paying you every single month. The sweet thing about the packages and value pricing compared to billing for your service is that you get paid before you do the work. Whereas billing is you're getting paid after the work is done. Your highest value to your client happens before you do the work, before you solve the problem, while they're still living with that problem. They see someone's services, investing in that, and they won't invest more than after you've relieved that concern for them or solved that problem. And that's why the pricing works to your advantage, is because you get paid when they have the highest outlook as far as what you have to offer regarding value. You're getting paid before you do the work. So if they don't pay you, you don't do the work for them. Whereas with the billing, sometimes you do the work and then they come back and they're questioning the bill. They ask you why it took longer than they expected it to. Or what happens is that maybe they had a financial problem that month and they all of a sudden can't pay you, or they want to negotiate your rate now. And then you're writing off services because you feel bad for them. And this solves that problem of the amount of time and those awkward conversations of trying to get paid for work already performed versus you just don't perform any work until you get paid. So one of my clients, Ingrid, when we first started working together, she just moved out of her home-based business into her office. It was a really exciting time for her. But because she was relatively new to having a bookkeeping business, she was working with a wide variety of clients, and she was very committed to charging by the hour because she wanted to be fair. She didn't see value-based pricing as fair when you charge different clients different rates because of what their cash flow might be. And I understood that, I respected that. A lot of it had to do with her values, mindset, beliefs about what most other people are doing. And what happened as we worked together is we were able to look at some of those beliefs that were holding her back from value-based pricing and be able to start to shift them a little bit more. She realized that she wanted to really raise the level of bookkeeping services to a higher standard that was more aligned with accounting professionals, and that value-based pricing would start to do that. She also started to go from being a generalist into developing a niche, and her niche is working with people in the adventure tourism industry. And as she started developing that particular niche, she was able to then define her packages. We started to add in the value-based pricing. She also then became an industry expert for adventure tourism, getting invited to their stages and speaking on their platforms as well. Because of that, over time, Ingrid was able to actually double her business without having as many clients on board. Plus, she also is a spokesperson for the bookkeeping industry and really raising the standards of the industry, because she really has become a spokesperson of focusing on advisory services, being able to really carve out your niche and what makes you shine compared to somebody else. And it's really been a joy to watch her over the years, actually. What we're going to move on to now is develop your packages. The very first thing that you want to look at here is that having a package actually just increases your profits. You are able to work the same amount of hours, but your business becomes more profitable because of the packages that you have in place and that they're priced according to value as opposed to time. Now, I want to show you how to get started in this section with actually developing your packages. So the very first thing you want to look at is figuring out who is your ideal client. Is it maybe a particular niche that you are working in, or could it be that you solve a problem? Either way is a way to start to specialize. Now, with looking at it being a particular niche, let's say we're looking at the home industry. Well, that's still a really wide field. You could have general contractors, you could have home inspectors, you can have people in the trades, you could have realtors that are selling residential real estate, and each one of those have some different needs than the other one. So when you look at the home industry, do you prefer the needs and the personality of realtors, or do you prefer the needs and the personality of people in the trades or general contractors? And start to become aware of what industry you really enjoy the challenges that they have, and also do you enjoy the personality of the people that are in that particular profession. So start to figure out gradually who your ideal client is and what niche they are as far as profession, or what is the specialty that you bring to it. An example is one of my accounting professionals. She didn't want a niche in a particular industry, but she chose a specialty of financial analysis because that was her background when she was in corporate, was being able to do financial analysis at a higher level. And therefore, when she works with her clients, she helps them really clean up their books and get started to where they can now have someone else take it and run. She helps them develop their forecasting for the growth rate that they want to have over the next 3 to 5 years, so that they really have an idea of what they need to be focused on each step of the way. And basically, she's helping them make more money in their businesses because she really digs deep into the financial analysis part, and she's also plugging up money leaks for them. And the next thing you want to look at is hurdles. So what is the biggest challenge that your particular client solves when they're coming to you? What is it that they need so desperately that you are capable of doing, and you do it all day, every day, and they just can't figure it out on their own? And become aware of those hurdles. And if you're not exactly sure what they are, there's 2 ways you can start to figure it out. You can either go to your current clients and ask them what are some of the biggest challenges that you've solved for them, or when you're having what I call a value conversation with a new potential client, start asking them questions about what the problem is, what it is that they want, what it is that they need, and what it is that they desire. Because the difference between wants, needs, and desires. Needs are the fundamentals that have to happen in order to be able to achieve a solution or move forward. The wants are the things that will make it easier for them if those things were in place. And the desires are usually higher level. That's where your advisory services come in. And it's things that they don't think that they can quite have in place yet because they haven't hit a certain point in their business or their growth. So think about asking questions that help you figure out their wants, their needs, and their desires that are really congruent with what you have to offer and the problem that you solve. The next thing you want to do is carve away some time and maybe even step out of the office to list out every single thing that you do for your clients. List out the big services that you do, and list out the little ones that maybe just take 5 or 10 minutes and you write off and you never charge for, but it's actually something that you do for your clients. And then everything in between. And you might want to think about also what are those services that your clients ask for that you don't actually do in the beginning, but because they ask for, you end up doing that for them because you have the skills to do that. So take some time and start to list out every single service that you offer. And it's going to be a big list, but what you want to then look at is think about that problem that your client comes to you with that you solve, and maybe find 3 different problems that they come to you with that you solve that you really enjoy doing. And then look at your list of services and start to look at which of those list of services go under that particular problem that you solve. So maybe the first one would be payroll services. And what are all the services that are on your list that go into payroll services? All the little nuances that are necessary. And then maybe another thing would be looking at cleanup work. And what are all the nuances that have to happen with cleanup work? And the other thing would be tax preparation. And what are all the things that go under tax preparation? And just start to look at what are the things that you offer and which are the services that they go under. And this is going to have you start to develop your packages, is looking at it from that way. Then when you're ready to go ahead and develop your package, you want to think about having 3 core packages. It's similar to the transportation of a Hyundai, a Volvo, and a Tesla. And this is an example of what 3 value packages would look like in your accounting firm. And that's because even though you might have a particular niche or solve a particular problem, you are probably going to have 3 different levels of clients, if not more. So the silver package is going to be the basic services. It's going to be that this particular client really likes working with you. They appreciate what you have to offer. And as a result of that, that they appreciate what and they might not be able to work with you at a higher level, but they really want to be able to work with you, and they're willing to start off at a more basic level. With this, if we're looking at bookkeeping services, it might be that you are doing some teaching on how to effectively use QuickBooks, but then they're doing most of the data entry and the reporting themselves. With the gold package will have everything that is in the silver gets rolled into the gold package, but then it has even more. It's going to have additional services, maybe some additional training there. It will be everything that your clients need as well as what they want. So it makes it easier for them. And this might be that you're focusing with them with where they are now in their business and how to be able to effectively manage their business. And then the next level, the diamond, will have everything from the silver, the package, and the diamond, and will be rolled into the diamond, so you can see that they're tiers. And with the diamond, this is more of really the done for you. This is the Tesla. In this, it's done for you. These clients highly value what you have to offer. They want more of your time. They want to have more advisory services from you. They might want to have more training, and that you are willing to do it because they're paying for the value of having that access to you, just like you might pay attorneys a retainer fee. So they're paying for the access to you, and that you are being able to do higher level advisory services with them. So start to think about what your packages might look like. And one of the things that you really want to look at next is asking yourself some critical questions as you're developing your packages. The first one is, who is it for? So when I look at my 3 packages, what I've realized is for my lowest package, it's for that client who really wants to be able to have access to me. They want to be able to transition over to value-based pricing, away from charging by the hour, but they're not quite at the level where they can invest into my main packages. So there's one for the client that is has tighter funds, lower cash flow, but really wants to get started on a business coaching relationship. And then the middle package that I have, the gold, is for clients that want to be able to have not just the advisory services, but they really want to have me start to help them carve things out and answer their specific questions about how does this apply for them. And then the diamond package that I have is for people that do things very intensively, and they just want to get all in. They want to do this as quickly as possible, because they realize that for every single month that they're postponing this, they're losing potential income. It's costing them either too much time, money, or working with their ideal clients because they don't know how to position themselves. So figure out who each package is for and how you can describe that so that they know exactly where they fit. The other thing that you want to also look at is, what is the problem that each package solves? And become aware of what it is that they're coming to the table with, when they're a potential client, and also looking at what is the solution that each package solves and being able to start to articulate that. The third thing you want to look at is, and this is really an advanced level tip. This is really going into the advisory part of it. What you want to look at is recognizing, because you specialize in a particular, solving a particular need or working with a particular niche, not only do you understand the problem of where your client is now, you also are aware of the problems that might be coming down the road, whether it's short-term down the road or further down the road from a long-term point of view. And as an advisor, you can help them prepare for those upcoming challenges that they're going to meet and start to put things in place now so that when they're at that point and they've reached that next challenge, that they can move through it faster, easier, and it's not going to cost them as much money as if they all of a sudden hit that challenge and then they're deer in headlights wondering what to do next, and it's wasting their time and costing them money. So think about what are those next problems that you can help them solve that they're going to be dealing with once you help them solve their current problem. With Justin, when we first met, he's an enrolled tax agent, and he and I have known each other for a long time, and he'd been wanting to coach with me for several years, but circumstances didn't allow that to do that. He finally got to the point of us having that conversation, and at the end of it, he said, Lauren, I have an option to buy the building that my firm is in, and I can, from what I see with what I have saved up is I can either buy that building or I can work with you. And what I explained to him is that he was looking at it from an accounting point of view where it was a very binary way of looking at things. It was a zero-sum game of either or. And that I don't necessarily look at things that way. I looked at it as how can he work with me, and because he worked with me, I can help him buy the building. And we had that conversation. We went through some of his concerns. We explored what they were and how to be able to work around them. And as a result, he went ahead and started coaching with me. What happened as a result of that is he went from being a generalist, working with doing personal taxes, as well as small business taxes, as well as larger taxes. Hold on one second. And he started to develop his niche. And he had a very specific niche, working with businesses in the cannabis industry, because they have some unique problems and challenges that no other business possibly has. It's one of those sin businesses. And because of that, we were able to then start putting packages together that he was able to offer his clients. We changed how he priced it from the billable hour over to value-based pricing. He actually ended up doubling and then raising his prices again so that he eventually quadrupled his rates doing similar services. But the value was that he had this specialty in the cannabis industry. He was an expert talking about it at different conferences, being able to really train on it as well. And so his clients absolutely needed him to be able to navigate their particular challenges. They were willing to pay the price. And as you know, with the cannabis industry, it's cash heavy. They had the cash lying around because there's very few banks that are willing to take their money at this point because the federal government doesn't recognize them yet. So he chose a great niche for his personality. It was able to actually quadruple his rates over time. And as a result of it, he actually has more free time, and he's been traveling more with his family because of the way that he moved his business. So what would it look like for you if you really found your niche? You had people coming to you that absolutely valued what you had to offer. They weren't challenging you on your rates. They respected the advisement that you gave them. And it was just something that you could do all day long. It was connected with your gifts. You had enough variety because they had unique challenges as you gained expertise. And it wasn't something that took more time. So think about how that would work for you. And what we're going to do now is wrap up with the extra touches. And one of the things that I see is as you go from charging by the hour to value-based pricing is it's just more profitable for your business. And you deserve, because you're an entrepreneur, you have a firm, you deserve to be well paid for what you do. And that it is possible to be able to make a shift in your business model to be able to lighten your workload and increase your income. A lot of it has to do with how your business model is set up and looking at one of the things that you're doing that are maybe below your pay grade and could be delegated, or where are you holding on to something, or where is it that you're doing something and there's actually a more efficient way to do it. You just haven't made the transition yet. You've been postponing that decision. So part of what I really enjoy doing is helping you find ways to be able to increase your income as well as not work as many hours. Because if you're going to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, you deserve to have the rewards of having taken or the risk of having your own business, and there's ways to help you do that. So I created what I call the value checklist, and this is some of the places where there's either a scope creep problem, so you're doing something and not getting paid for it, you may be writing it off, or it's that they're just little things and you don't want to nickel and dime your clients because it only takes 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there. But when you really add up all the 5 and 10 minutes that you are giving away and writing off over time, it's a significant amount of money. It probably will add another zero to your bottom line at the end of the year. So let's go through some of the ways that you could plug up the money leaks in your business and how the things that you are actually minimizing really have value, but because you're not letting your clients know that you're doing it, they don't even recognize the value that you're giving them. So the very first thing is response. And what you want to look at is how you communicate with your clients and how quickly you respond to them. And this is something that you can actually bring into your different packages. Let me give you an example of what I did with one of my clients, is that when he developed his silver package, the way that they could communicate with him was only by email. And he had a response time of, I believe, 3 business days, so 72-hour response time to that email. That was what he had in his silver package. When we had built out his gold package, it changed. Those clients could communicate with him either by email or by phone. And his response time to them was 1 to 3 days. And then in his diamond package, they were able to communicate with him by text because he gave them his cell phone number because they were diamond clients. They were heavily invested in him. So they can communicate either by text, email, or phone, whatever worked best for them. And he would respond to them anywhere from 1 hour up to 24 hours. So it was a one-day response that he would give them. And so there was different levels of responses depending on which packages that they were in. And the second thing has to do with resources. And with resources, you want to look at where is it that you give advisory services, or where can we build in more advisory services and start shifting you away from just compliance work so that you can really take your business to a higher level and get known for that problem that you solve. So where can we add in consultations and how can we add them into each of your packages? The other thing is training. Where can we add training into your different packages at various levels so that that has value also? The third thing is resolution. When I mean resolution, I mean think about the time that you spend on a client's account on customer support. You can be on hold waiting for someone at Intuit to answer the phone for, it could be minutes. Sometimes, depending on whether there's a breakdown, it could be hours. And, or how much time are you working with maybe a customer service rep to be able to fix a problem in the way that QuickBooks is working, because it's not doing something that it's supposed to be doing. And what we can do, instead of you minimizing how much time you might be spending on customer service to fix an issue in the software, you can actually build that into your packages and just have a certain amount of hours that are already grandfathered into your packages right there so that they're already paying for it. And you don't have to think about the fact that the next time you're on customer service on hold or dealing with that order take just 10 minutes and it's turning into 2 hours and you're losing all this time that you'll never be able to recoup, realizing, you know what, it's part of the package. They paid for it. I don't have to stress about it as much. I mean, you're stressed out because you have a problem, but you're not stressed out that you're losing time because of it. So that is the third thing that you want to look at with your packages is resolution. The fourth thing is remedy. And remedy is the technical help that you offer your clients. So think about where you might be teaching them how to use QuickBooks, or you're teaching them an advanced level of QuickBooks, or maybe you're showing them how to use a particular app like Receipt Bank that goes with QuickBooks, and that you're doing some type of training. Or it might be that they went into their QuickBooks account and they messed something up and now you have to go and fix it. So think about where you're continuing to have remedies of either training them on something or fixing something. And instead of being something that maybe you write off, it's now part of the package that you offer. Fifth one is relationships. When I talk about relationships, I'm thinking about connections. So when your clients have a specific problem that you find out about and you can't solve it, how can you make a referral to somebody that you have vetted, you trust, that can solve that problem for them? So when I'm talking about relationships, really think about who it is that you can connect your clients to that would help them solve a problem and move their business forward. The other part of relationships you want to think about is as you're talking with other people, when you become aware of a problem that someone else has that your client solves, how can you make a referral of that person to your client so maybe they can gain a new client or new customer because you made a connection for them? And this is where you're just basically being a connector, you're opening up your Rolodex, and you recognize the value of the relationships that you bring to the table. The sixth one is write-offs. And write-offs are those little things you do for free that take just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You don't want to add it onto the bill because you don't want to nickel and dime them. But because they don't even know that you're doing these little extra things for them, they don't have any appreciation of it. So let's think about all the little things that add up because they just take a little bit of time here and there, and bring those write-offs into your service packages. And then the last one is reconcile. And reconcile is thinking about what are those unique requests that some of your clients have where you have to maybe accommodate them in order for you to be able to do the work for them. It might be that a particular client is on desktop as opposed to on the cloud, where all your other clients are on the cloud. And in order to work with them, you have to go to their physical location. So not only does that mean drive time there and back, but when you're working on location, there's probably going to be conversation and some interaction. So it's going to slow down how quickly you can actually get the job done and do your work. The other thing that you want to think about with reconcile is maybe you have a specific niche, but one of your clients has a higher, more developed business and they have an enterprise business. And so they're on a different type of accounting system than the one that you currently use. And you have to be, and so it slows you down a little bit and you have to be able to navigate through their accounting system to be able to do the work for them. And so that's what I mean by reconcile. What are some of the exceptions that you, or accommodations you need to make for specific clients, and how can you bring that into your packages to be able to make sure that you get compensated for that as well. So once again, I want you to be aware of where the different money leaks in your business. If you're not sure off the top of your head, I would say open up a doc on your computer and go ahead and just put money leaks on there, title it, and every time you become aware of when you're doing something for someone and you're not charging them, or it's an exception that they asked for that wasn't in the original agreement, so it's going into scope creep, just go ahead and note it on this document, and you'll become aware of the different things that where you're having money leaks, and then we can figure out how to be able to plug them up for you with your packages. This is someone I worked with. Brian is a loan officer, and he lives in a very small community. There's only about 150,000 people in the entire county that he lives in. And he's very competitive. He wanted to really rise up with Guild Mortgage. So when we talked, part of his promise as a service provider, he is a very, very nice man. He says yes to everything and everyone. He promises things that his staff says, you can't promise that. We can't do it in that amount of time. He promises it anyway. And somehow his staff always delivers. But he says yes to a lot of things because he just doesn't like saying no too much. And what we started to work on is creating systems of figuring out what he ought to be saying yes to and what maybe he ought to be postponing wasn't a good fit right now for him to move forward and grow. Also of how he could get more off of his plate and be able to really focus on the things that's going to advance his business, which is him being an advisor, and also the fact that he's the rainmaker for the business. So we started working on that, and as we did that, he became more of a trusted advisor for his referral partners also. He was able to help his referral partners grow their businesses, which meant that he was getting more referrals from them. And because of him being very strategic in how he positioned himself, and he was developing relationships and clearing some of the other things off his plate, not only was he ranked up about among the top 1% of the loan originators in Guild Mortgage, but he's currently number 6 in the country. And Guild Mortgage is a nationwide business that has offices in large communities such as Los Angeles and Chicago. And here he is in this county of 150,000 people, and he's now number 6 in the country. It just shows you that if you have systems in place, if you position yourself as a connector, as that trusted advisor, and you're really doing things that are effective, not only for you, but for your clients and your referral partners, you have the ability to be very, very profitable. It's not so much about where you live, it's about really what you bring to the table and how you help others. And that you can actually rise up also, and let's not use geography as an excuse any longer. So what we covered is transition your pricing, looking at developing your packages, and wrapping up with the extra touches. If you feel that what I talked about today resonates with you, you would like to be able to put it in play, and you really need help being able to make that happen, you've been really thinking about the value-based pricing part of it and getting away from the billable hour, and that what I talked about resonated with you, then I put away 5 strategy sessions to be able to talk to you about how this would work in your business, what it would look like. And you can go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk and be able to apply for a strategy session. And what that would be is, you know, we would be able to get on the phone and talk about what it is that you want to achieve, where things currently are, some of the challenges that you're having, and what some of the opportunities are. So if you're someone who's been thinking about value-based pricing, you want to get your packages in place, you want to position yourself more as a trusted advisor and not really compete as far as the compliance piece works any longer, you are someone who invests in yourself, whether it's time, money, or effort, then absolutely go ahead and apply for one of the 5 strategy sessions at businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. I would really love to hear what's going on, being able to look at what's possible for you, what's your business, and how we can go ahead and take it to the next level. So once again, businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. Anyway, thank you so much for connecting with me, taking your time, a piece of your valuable time and sharing it with me. I really appreciate that. I look forward to hearing from you and what you were able to take away from today. Lauren Fogelman, your business success coach with businesssuccesssolution.com. Take care.